Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brittany and I am a homeschool mom of 3 little kids, and I'm documenting my 4th pregnancy. And currently, today as I'm filming, I am actually 10 weeks and 6 days, so I'm cutting it close this week, but I had a reason to wait. So this week I've been exhausted. I've been so tired again, and I've actually had hormonal headaches, so that's not been fun, but I actually have been able to tolerate like drinking a lot more water. I've been really thirsty lately, which is really kind of a blessing because I didn't want water at all before. So now I'm drinking a lot more water. I'm getting my 1 cup of coffee in a day. And right now, I've actually got one with me right now. I'm craving still like citrusy things. So I got this San Pellegrino yesterday at Target. And then I got some of the Izzy grapefruit sparkling juices. And so anything very citrusy like that, I'm loving. But just in general, like a lot of food doesn't sound good to me still, which is kind of funny. But I'm making it through. Like, I'm eating and things like that. I just, I eat when things sound good to me. But other than that, I felt really good. And the reason I waited a little longer to record my 10-week video was yesterday I went in and I did see my doctor, and I have told you guys before, I love my OB office. They're so kind. They're so sweet. They had only good things to say about the office and how well they were taken care of during furlough, but they were also like just happy to get back to work. And my doctor is precious, and she's just one in a million. But I did express to the nurse, because the nurse would like take my blood pressure and things like that, and then they ask, do you have any concerns that you want to let the doctor know about? And it's really nice because they do verbalize that to the doctor before the doctor sees me. And I just told them, I do have a labor and delivery nursing background, and I just said I had my ultrasound at like 7 weeks 2 days, and you don't see a lot of movement of the baby at that point. I just don't like knowing that I'm going to have to wait from 7 weeks to 20 weeks to see that baby on ultrasound again. And the nurse was like, well, funny enough, there's an ultrasound machine in the room you're going to be in today, because if they can't detect the heart rate by Doppler this early, they use ultrasound. When my doctor came in, it actually worked out, because when I had expressed that, and I told the nurse, I was like, I've had a background in, labor and delivery and things like that. But I'm also on my 4th pregnancy. I'm a little bit older, and I worry a little bit more. And she was like, well, that's totally common, and I get it. And so when the doctor came in, she just went ahead and ultrasounded me, and I didn't get any pictures or anything, but I got to see the baby. She left it on there for just a, she ultrasounded me for a good few minutes, and I got to see the baby moving and kicking and moving its arms up and down. And she was like, oh my goodness, this is a really active baby. And I told my husband that because he can't go with me right now. And it was just funny because he's like, well, I guess it's going to fit right in with the rest because my kids are super active. But it just put my heart at ease to see the baby, to just see it moving and just thriving, and it just made me feel so good. So I feel a lot more at ease this week, but it just made me feel a lot better to see the doctor and to be able to express my concerns, no matter how little or big they are, and them actually take it seriously. That is what I love about my doctor's office. So funny enough, and I want to hear you guys' opinions about this, but when it comes to my babies, they never want to come on time. I always have late babies. And so with Magnolia, it was so easy because I was planning around a lot of other different things. I had kids at home all the time, and with Paul working, it was a lot easier for me to plan an elective induction, and my body, I knew, would respond to it a lot easier. So with a first pregnancy, I don't think that's the smartest way to go unless you're late. I did have an induction with Tate, but I was 41 and 6. So I was at the cutoff anyway for them to start thinking okay, we need to get this ball rolling. But with Magnolia, I was already a few centimeters dilated. I was having early labor contractions all the time. Every morning, it just never started active labor. And so we planned a 39-week induction with Magnolia, and it worked out beautifully. Like, I had no problems. Her heart rate was beautiful the whole time. She came out beautiful. Everything was great. And so I kind of, in the back of my mind, am thinking I would like to maybe go into labor on my own this time. But I also know my body doesn't typically want to do that on its own a lot of times. My doctor just said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and put it in your notes that we'll probably do the same thing with this baby. And we'll go ahead and say we're going to do a 39-week induction. And I just love that about them, because they do a more natural approaches with the start of an induction. They don't just like throw a bunch of meds at you at first. And so that is one more reason why I do feel more comfortable with that option for myself, because they use what's called a Foley ball usually in my cervix to start to dilate it even more up to 5 centimeters, so that I can maybe go into active labor on my own if my body is just not like starting it and keeping it going. And I like that option a lot. And so then after that, if my body is just not picking it up, they might use a little Pitocin. But other than that, I felt really good about that decision, because I've got a lot of kids to plan around. I've got, I do work weekends, and so hopefully, because of my work, I will have my last wedding that I'll be doing makeup for, and then the next week I would have the baby, which you can't plan those things all the time. And I know that this is my 4th, like it could come early, and you know, God's got greater plans than I do. But as of right now, it was just so good for our family to plan that induction, and to know that my body would, you know, 90% was likely to, you know, do what it had done before, and it did. So that is my game plan for later down the line. I just love that they're so open to doing what's right for you and your family, and knowing that they know that I have 3 kids, and so it's nice for them to think about you during that and not what's best for the doctor, because I've had experiences where I worked with doctors that it was like all about them and their time off, and they needed to get it done now because they didn't want to be here later. And I'm just so thankful that I have a doctor that doesn't act like that. But I am feeling a lot better now. I had a ton of energy yesterday until about 6 or 7 o'clock, and then I was exhausted. Yeah, I'm just really excited. I do have a bigger bump today, and I'm excited to show you. It just was like all of a sudden it was just there. Like, it's like a little baby bump, and I'm so excited. So this week it was the size of a Tootsie Pop. I have it set to like my 80s, 90s nostalgia like comparisons, but it's also just the size of like a strawberry. But I love that my kids can totally relate when I'm like, it's the size of a Tootsie Pop. And they love that. So they're getting really excited. My son said that he wants us to have another girl, because he says he wants to be the only boy in the house so he can get special attention. You got it figured out, buddy. I did talk to him one night at bedtime when I was tucking him in, and he was like, I would be fine if it was a boy. I've got a lot to teach him. And so he's open to anything. He just likes knowing that he's the only boy, and that's going to be a little more special if that's the case. But I did tell him that I was the only girl and I had 3 brothers, so I think he just like wants to be like his mom in that sense. But Lorelai says that she thinks it's a little girl, and she loves the name we've picked out. And she told me this week, she goes, you're gonna have to start yelling that name, because when that baby comes, you've got to be able to yell her name too. And I just thought that was so funny, like calling them down, you know. It's just, she was already thinking about that, and it just made me laugh. But Maggie already sees the ultrasound. We have like a platter hung up in our kitchen, and magnets can stick on it, and we have the ultrasound picture from my 7-week ultrasound up there, and it's just like, baby. And I know she doesn't understand completely, but it's just so precious for her to be saying things like that right now and be receptive to little things that we're talking about and we're saying. But other than that, I'm feeling really great now. I've been taking my vitamin B and my vitamin D and my vitamin C along with my prenatal and things like that. But another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about this time was, I don't think that I had ever mentioned that I had stayed on my antidepressant. And so I know that is like a very hot topic, especially when you're pregnant and things like that. But I tried to go off of it when I first found out I was pregnant, and I felt horrible. Like, I felt awful. And I talked to my doctor about it, and she said, and I had cut my dose in half when I started it back up, and I told them that, and they were like, this is one of the oldest meds that have been on the market. We have no issues with you staying on it. This is actually one of the safest ones that you can be on. And at that dose, it's like there's a very tiny minimal amount that can get to the baby through the blood-brain barrier. And I even asked the doctor about it again yesterday, and she was like, I have no worries about this baby at all with you being on that, and even breastfeeding. And when Paul's mom had died, I just was feeling so much stress not being able to be up there with him because of the kids and having other responsibilities here at home. And we upped my dose. When I found out I was pregnant, I completely stopped cold turkey, which I know better as a nurse. I know better than that, but it freaks me out to take medicine when I'm pregnant. However, I just felt horrible. I didn't feel like myself. I felt like I wasn't patient. I wasn't I couldn't relax. I was just miserable. And so I started back up at half that dose, and I felt great. Like, I felt really good. And then, just praying through it, I just felt like the Lord was just giving me ease about being on that medicine right now. And I've talked to the nurse practitioner I see, and then my doctor, and they both just put me at ease about staying on it, being on it. It was the right thing for me, for my mind, for my body. And knowing that it's a very safe medication, and that they hadn't seen any issues from it in 25 years of, labor and of delivering babies, it just made me feel a lot better. So I would just encourage you that if that is something that you're struggling with, especially being pregnant or being at home with kids, or I just had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of postpartum issues with Maggie mentally, and I just feel like that's something that right now makes me thrive as a mother and as a wife and as someone who's trying to support other people in her life. So it was the right thing for me. I felt just ease from the Lord when I was bringing it to him, and knowing that my doctor was supportive of it, and knowing that they're not typically the doctors that would go to medication first. It just put my mind at ease. So I would encourage you to talk to your doctor if you're feeling those things, and just know that if you are feeling judged, or if people are just giving their opinion about certain things like that, you can reach out to me, and I will totally just I would love to support you through that decision, because I know it's a hard one to make. I struggled when I was pregnant with Lorelai, and I wouldn't take anything, and it was not the right decision at the time. I didn't feel good pregnant with her, and I just regret so much not finding a doctor that I could be honest with at the time. But this time I feel so good about my decision. I feel so at peace with my decision. And so if that's something that you're struggling with, or just needing to talk about, I don't know everything, but I do know that I'm a listening ear. So please know that I'm praying for you and your pregnancy or your motherhood. And if that's something that you're struggling with and that you're bringing to the Lord, that medication may be something you need, I'm always here. But talk to your doctor, and just find someone that will listen to you and listen to your honest heart and your concerns for yourself. But I'm gonna show you guys my baby bump now. So I'm wearing a dress today, but you can see it very well. I've only gained 2 to 3 pounds right now, which is not a lot. You can gain between 1.5 pounds and 4.5 pounds your first trimester. I'm gonna pull it tight so you guys can see. But it's right there, it's crazy. I just can't even believe it. It's just a legit baby bump now. And it just, it makes me happy. I'll probably get bigger in the very beginning and stall out a little bit at the end, but it's only because I've had a bunch of babies, I feel like. But I think it's just like, it's so exciting to see that little baby bump. Oh, it makes me happy. So I hope that you enjoyed this update this week, and I hope that it gives you some encouragement to make the decisions that are right for you, that you will reach out to your doctor if that's something that's on your heart and your mind right now that you need to do, to talk to them. And yeah, I hope this just gave you some encouragement today. Thank you for watching these. I finally hit 100 subscribers and I was thrilled. I was so excited, and I know that's a tiny little milestone compared to all these other YouTube channels out there, but I just feel so loved and supported, and I feel like I'm making connections with you guys, and that was honestly my heart starting out with this whole thing, was just being a little bit of a light to someone else who just may need that that kindred spirit of sorts. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up down below, and also that subscribe button down below so that you'll see my next update as well as other videos that I'll be putting out. And you can find me on Instagram at The Perfect Mundane as well. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.